So today we are going to chat with a fan who likes to ask other cricket fans about photos that make them happy. As his Twitter handle suggests, random cricket photos and videos. He likes to take his followers on a journey through photos and videos of cricket incidents and great moments. He's a great storyteller and also a quiz master, but today we will be the ones asking the questions to Amit Sinha. Amit, welcome to the Cricket Podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here, and I'm so glad to be talking to two absolute cricket nuts.
You're in
Thank
the
you
right
so
place.
much. So, diving straight into it, Amit, the first question we like to know, we like to ask all our guests is why cricket and where did the journey start? How did you fall in love with the game?
Yeah, so to be honest, when I was growing up, there was not a lot of, not a lot of other sports that were particularly followed in India. Cricket was, of course, the biggest. And and I didn't have exposure to a lot of other sports. I mean, me and my dad used to watch a lot of football, but, the World Cups, the Euro. But cricket was something that was on the television. And that's because the national broadcasters, the Doordarshan is what we call it here, they showed a lot of cricket back then. And 90s was the era when like there was a lot of ODI cricket happening. There was a lot of and all of that was telecasted. So I had access to cricket. So that was pretty much the only sport that I was exposed to at that age. And then the entire hero worshipping, say, around a Sachin Tendulkar or Saurav Ganguly or Rahul Dravid, like those are the big cricketers of my era. I mean, of course, that fascinated me. And so there was that phase when I watched a lot of cricket. I would I would take leaves from school or college or, miss major things in my life just to watch a cricket match. Then there was another phase post 2008-9 when, because there was so much of cricket and also I grew a bit, I grew up. So there was not a lot of time to watch a lot of cricket. Then I moved into the reading phase. Okay. I read a lot of cricket. And when I entered college, that reading came in handy because there was a lot of cricket quizzing happening in Delhi University. I was in Delhi Universities. I was doing political science as my master's in political science, but I was very involved in the cricket quizzing circles. And I was participant for those years of my college life. But after that, I started conducting quizzes. And all of that required me to read more and more. So the journey began from watching, then reading, then quizzing. And now because of the entire reading and quizzing, there are a lot of stories to tell, right? I have a lot of things that I know, and I feel, those are things that possibly not people who are not very keen readers of the game would know. And they are interesting stories, they should be told to a larger cricket loving audience. And that's why I do what I do.
So it's safe to say you grew up with Mr. Charu Sharma as well on Doordarshan, just like I did.
Absolutely, yeah. Charu Sharma, Maninder Singh, Arun
Yeah.
Lal, all of these people were, they were always on the screens because there was so much cricket happening in the early 2000s.
Yeah. So before we move into the main topic for today, is there any one particular moment in your cricketing journey that really made you, okay, this is the sport I love. This is amazing. What a sport this is.
Yeah, I keep going back to the 1999 World Cup in which India fared really badly. To be honest, they didn't make it past the Super Sixes. And but of course, as a 6-year-old, I really didn't understand a lot of it. But I watched Saurav Ganguly bat against Sri Lanka. I watched Rahul Dravid bat against Sri Lanka, and that 316-run partnership that really attracted me towards the game, and that gave me new heroes. Because look, around me, everyone was a Sachin fan. And possibly to be edgy or what, I said, no, I mean, Sachin is fine. Like everyone loves Sachin, but I want to, find my new heroes. So those two innings, and especially in those years, one after the other, there was the 2002 NatWest Trophy. There was the win against Australia in Adelaide. So all those moments were big. But yeah, the first I would say when I watched Saurav and Rahul Dravid stitch that 316-run partnership against Sri Lanka, that would be my, I was sold.
I mean, in terms of, the main topic today, we want to talk about cricket photos and videos and iconic videos and photos that sort of stick in our mind when we think about iconic cricketing moments. Before we talk about our favorite images and videos. What makes a great photo for you in cricket?
I would say that, that understanding has changed or evolved as I have understood cricket photography. So
Mm.
what makes a photograph great, it can be like there is a photograph of Ricky Ponting pulling a ball,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's a photograph from the Bridgetown Test, and he's wearing a jumper. Okay, now for me, for a lot of others, this might not be a great photograph. It's just a batsman in action, but the fact that he's wearing a jumper in the heat of Bridgetown is, there is some reason to it, right? So I go into that reason, and I find, like, so for me, the story behind the photograph has to be important.
Yep.
There is this one particular photo clicked by Ken Kelly, and the photo has Sid Buller and another umpire. They are just walking towards the pavilion. In the background, there are three cricketers. One of them is Gary Sobers. Okay. Now, if you look at it, the photograph has nothing. Okay. It's from a county championship match, I think 1967 or 63. Now, on the face of it, the photograph is really just an average photograph. But, when you tell the story that like when Ken Kelly actually, Sid Buller walked back to the pavilion, he went to the washroom and he never came back because he passed away in that match on that. So that became his final photograph, right? So that's what I'm saying, that it might not be really what is there in the photograph. I mean, there are absolutely a lot of spectacular photographs. I mean, the one that I can that I always go back to, one that captures, what cricket stands for me, is the one where Dale Steyn is being given a hand by Grant Elliott after he hits him for the
Yeah.
six in the
Yep.
2015 World Cup semi-final.
Yep.
But it's so like that photograph is a self-explanatory photograph. It tells what is happening and all of it. It captures everything. The beauty of the sport, the brotherhood,
Mm.
the heartbreak of a defeat, and especially for a South African losing out to New Zealand in a semi-final. All of that it captures. But then there are photographs where, what meets the eye, there is slightly lot more. There is often lot more than what meets the eye. So I enjoy those photographs a lot.
I'm
Absolutely.
similar to you.
That's such a great answer. And that's a perfect segue actually into my next question is what is that one photo in your mind that has stuck with you? It may have happened last year, it may have happened 20 years ago, but that has changed your perception of cricket or that defines cricket for you.
Look, as we grow up, our understanding of the game also evolves, right? And at the beginning of my affair with cricket, it was just merely about entertainment. But now, as I've grown up, I've experienced life, I understand that there is so much more than just entertainment. There are so many lives that are affected by it. And so I like those stories, and especially the Ken Kelly photograph of Sid Buller that I was talking about. That one I'm really like, that shook me up when I read about it in this. I mean, I first came across it in the book of Patrick Agar, written by Ryan Christian or Christian Ryan. I don't know. I always mess it up. But yeah, the book is called Feeling. And yeah, when I came across that story and then I read it up about it, it really shook me up. But again, you asking me about one particular photograph, and that's why I said that cricket has now begun to mean more than entertainment for me. So there is this one photograph. This is clicked by this photographer called David Munden, English photographer. So okay, I'll just give you a bit of context what David
Yeah.
Munden was. He was a leg spinner. He used to
Yep.
play for, I guess, Leicestershire or Lancashire, one of those. So and then he moved towards cricket photography in the 90s. And there is this moment in the West Indies tour to England in 1991 when the ball hits the wickets, but for some reason the bails don't come off, and the batsman is, I guess, Gordon Greenwich. And he just like turns back, bends down as if to kiss the bails, just to express his gratitude. And because
Yeah.
West Indian cricketers were such showmen, right? So he does that, and then he goes back to playing cricket. Now, there is a photograph taken by David Munden of that particular moment where he's just about to kiss the bails. Okay. And, when you look at the photograph, you don't understand much of it, right? What is happening. But when you watch the video, you realize that that thing happened in like, split second, right? Now, David Munden, in the subsequent years, I mean, he was a brilliant photographer throughout the 90s and 2000s. But that man who used to bowl leg spin, that man whose reflexes were so sharp that he took that photograph, he he developed Parkinson's, and at a very, like, I guess less than 60, he passed away because it was a long battle against Parkinson's that he could not win. So to think of it that there was this person who had those sharp reflexes to catch that little moment in time, that tells so much about, and that tells so much about cricket photography to me. That tells so much about how much he loved that game. And yeah, so as I said, that for me, uh, the photo that defines cricket does not need to be an extraordinary one. It is about what it captures, what story it has behind it.
That is so true.
That is so true. That is such a brilliant answer.
And just one more, in addition to this, there are a number of photos. So when Ben Holyoke made his debut against Australia, and in that ODI, he smashed Vaughan all over the place. I think he scored 63 of 49 balls, right?
Yep.
So there are photos of that innings of Ben Holyoke that have been captured by David Munden. And, both of them passed away too early. So you see those photographs and you see that possibly on the face of it, there is nothing more than, what meets the eye. But that's why I said that those are things that you realize when you grow up, that the bit that, okay, this is life, that if you are in your glory and pomp, and few months later, few years later, you're not even there.
Yeah.
So all of that.
Yeah, it reminds me of Philip Hughes's last innings playing in the Shield and him in action. And now he's forever 63 not out. And you look back at those photos and it's just brings all those emotions, and you share those stories with so many cricket fans. I guess for you, Amit, that must be a very rewarding part of what you do, to have fans who are just as passionate as you also share their own perspective of how they see cricket photos and discuss those with you.
That is the most beautiful part, to be honest. And that is what photos allow, actually. And that's why, the Twitter account does have a lot of videos which I post very regularly, but my Facebook page is largely about photographs, and it is only about photographs. I don't even post other opinions or anything.
Yep.
Because for me, like, that is the beauty of a photograph, that I can look at it one way, but someone else can interpret it their own way. And the thing that video does not allow is that it doesn't allow me to tell its story. Photograph allows me to do that, right? So, but at the same time, it can draw such varied perceptions and interpretations, and I totally enjoy engaging with them.
And that's so true, because my mind immediately goes to an incident from 2019 Ashes, where we saw this photo of Jos Buttler and Jofra Archer together after Jofra Archer had just bowled a really lethal bouncer to Steve Smith and he was down on the floor. And we saw Archer in this kind of I exactly don't know what words I can use, but, like a really awkward smile on his face with Jos Buttler next to him. And it's sort of two people come to mind immediately. One is obviously Jofra Archer, and then the next one is Sean Abbott, who really bowled the bouncer to Philip Hughes a few years ago. You think of, both of them, like how that photo really tells a lot, because from Jofra Archer's perspective, that's really scary for him as a bowler. Even for Sean Abbott, how did he make a comeback? Will he be able to bowl a bouncer to any other batsman ever? And obviously he's playing cricket now, but back then we did not know answers to this. And that's coming back to your point of a photo tells so many stories, and it can tell it. You can interpret that as one thing, and I can interpret that as another thing. It's just beautiful, even in a sport which is backed by stats, backed by facts, the photos, and a photo which is interpreted by millions of fans in millions of different ways. It's so true. And I just want to, while you're here, while we have you, I want to share my photo, which really defined cricket for me as a young kid. It was obviously, like you said earlier, Sachin Tendulkar was a hero for other people, and he was certainly a hero for me. Growing up in Mumbai, obviously, I was going to follow him. But there's this one photo of his stance, which, if I can show you this, and it's from his 2002 N Power series in England. and why that photo defines not only batting but cricket for me is because, like you said earlier, there's so many hidden stories behind the photo, and this photo really shows me, like, in cricket at any given point, yes, it's a team sport, yes, you have 10 other players on your team, but at any given point you are an individual, you are alone in your space doing your thing. Because it doesn't matter if there's Brett Lee, if there's Andy Roberts, if there's Jofra Archer at the other end. As a batsman, you are going to be alone. Your non-striker is not going to help you play the ball. Or when the ball goes high up in the air under lights, there's 50,000 people screaming your name. As a fielder, you are still alone. You still have to catch the ball. Or whether the batter needs 3 runs from one ball, you are alone as a bowler. You have to bowl the ball. So that really put things into perspective for me as a player as well, and as a follower of the sport. That doesn't matter what happens. You are an individual. You have to, write your own destiny. That's a cliche, but I'm going to use it. You have to write your own destiny in cricket, and ultimately, you have to be a little selfish to win games for your team. And that's why I love that photo. But going away from that, actually,
just before you go away from that, just one more thing that I wanted to add. This series, in fact, has some of the best photographs of Sachin as well as Rahul Dravid, because these were taken by Patrick Agar. So and the skies were such, the lighting and all of it. It's really beautiful photographs. There is a photo of Sachin pulling through mid-wicket, and my God, these are such gorgeous looking photographs. And just a few days ago, in fact, few weeks ago, I was sending all these photographs to another friend of mine who's a big Sachin fan. And also this photo particularly, the one that you showed, this is, I guess, if you just remove the face, you can totally put it in a textbook for like perfect technique, right? The balance, everything looks so perfect, right? So technically,
agree with
this
that.
man, that it also represents that peak that Sachin Tendulkar achieved with his technical flawlessness. And that's something very special to me.
That's what I was going to say as well. That's what I was going to say as well. Because when I was looking at that photo, I'm looking at years and years and years of perfection and practice. But also you see Nash talking about Sachin as an individual. A different perspective is this man's looking calm with the weight of a billion people, the weight of expectation with a billion people on his shoulders, but he's still looking calm at the crease. That's the way I perceive it. He looks so calm, even though people pinned their hopes on him back then as well as a key batsman in the side. So it's just amazing how different photos can be interpreted in different ways, as you guys mentioned.
And funny you should say that, because my perception again changed, like you said, Amit, a few minutes ago, that perception keeps on changing in years and years after you follow the game. Back in 2011, I was 18 when we won the World Cup, and that day my perception again changed, not because we won the World Cup, but because of something happened after we won the World Cup. So there's this photo of Virat Kohli carrying Sachin Tendulkar on his shoulders, but it's not the photo, it's the story behind the photo. And Amit, you will certainly remember this, because Virat Kohli, in his interview before, he said, well, he's carried the burden of the shoulder for 22 years. It's time we carried him on our shoulders. And that really defined, what this man was all about as a player, as an individual, like what he meant to the nation, what he meant to his team. And yes, I said that, cricket is, after all, an individual game when it comes to, the situation, but you still have to remember that who you're doing it for, like, the people behind you and the people why you're doing it as well. So those two photos are, for me, I think I'll carry them all my life. There's all kinds of amazing photos out there, but these two photos personally, I think I'll definitely carry them with me all my life. So my question to you, Amit, is, from the 2011 World Cup, any particular moment that you how old were you in 2011?
18.
So we are, all three of us are the same age. So any particular moment from that era, I want to say pre 2013 and post 2000 actually, in that sort of 10, 12 years, anything, because those were the sort of the later years of Sachin Tendulkar's career and Ganguly's career, Dravid's career, and Lakshman's career, like all those Fab Four. Certainly, as an Indian, you grew up idolizing all of them. So, any particular moment that you have in mind?
I think 2011 World Cup itself gave us some really wonderful photographs, and it's also, I mean, look, we all know the passion with which these cricketers played that World Cup, because we all know that they all wanted to win it for Sachin, right? And that passion gets captured in these photos. When you see that photo of Yuvraj Singh after hitting that winning shot against Australia in the quarterfinal, you see that passion. When you see Harbhajan celebrating after dismissing Afridi in the semi-final at Mohali, you see that passion. So yeah, I think there are, like, 2011 World Cup gave us those photos. And then in contrast to all of that, we see Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and I was talking to the photographer of that photo, Mahendra Singh Dhoni hitting the last ball for 6. And Yuvraj Singh, he, on the other hand, like, absolutely going berserk with his celebration, because of course they have won the World Cup. It's the biggest achievement that as a cricketer you could think of. And yeah, so it's such a brilliant photograph, because we see what that World Cup has meant for these people in Yuvraj Singh's reaction. And on the other hand, Dhoni is just calm as a cucumber, and that's well captured in the photograph by Indranil Mukherjee. So yeah, that's a great photograph. I absolutely love it. And just going back to your previous thing about Virat having that to say about Sachin, that just reminded me of another photograph, not popular at all, but 1996 India touring England, and the Lord's Test, the debut test for Sourav Ganguly, was also the final test of Dickie Bird. And Dickie Bird is as big a cricket tragic as we know, right? Yeah. So he started the match by, he was crying. He was in tears when he started the match. And when the match ended also, he was in tears. So there is a photograph of Sachin Tendulkar and Sourav Ganguly. They are on either sides of Dickie Bird. Dickie Bird is still wiping his, tears. And, Sourav Ganguly has put a hand on his shoulders, and Sachin Tendulkar is also. So I really like that photograph, because, these are 25, 26-year-old, not even 26, 24 and 23-year-old cricketers, fairly young, and one of them even making his debut. But to understand what that sport meant to that man, and to have that sort of an emotion there, I really find that photo beautiful. Like, it's just not, and that's what you said in the previous thing, that it's just not an individual sport. Like, there is so much around, there is so much emotion around that commands respect. The love for cricket some people have, that commands respect. And probably that's what got that emotion out of these, two young men when they saw Dickie Bird crying. So yeah, those are some, fabulous photographs that we have. But again, they're not very popular, but I hope they get that popularity they deserve.
One photo that
from
stuck
you
with me, definitely Curtly Ambrose standing over Steve Waugh. Don't know if you can see that.
Yeah,
that's a magnificent photograph.
Oh, and I'm thinking to myself, how the hell is Steve Waugh just standing there, just facing up to this guy? Because how many people did Curtly Ambrose intimidate over his career? He's one of the all-time greats because of his intimidation factor. But there's Steve Waugh standing his ground. And I think what stuck with me as a youngster growing up, and when I saw that, it's almost like Steve Waugh sent the message: we're not going to let anyone stand over us, and we're not going to sort of let anyone walk over us. We're going to make sure that we stand up to whatever is we are facing. And Steve Waugh was probably was the only batsman to average 50 throughout the 90s. It was really rare back then because it was a bowler's decade. But what that photo showed is that Steve Waugh stood above the rest as he stood in front of Ambrose, and Ambrose is about to, as Ambrose said, he's going to knock him out. So that's one that really stuck with me, because it represents so much about the Australian spirit back then. Probably the less said about Australian cricket now, the better. But in terms of back then, it was just a fantastic way to say, yeah, that was the Australian spirit. We play the game hard, and when we're faced with any sort of adversity, we'll come back and we'll dominate, because Steve Waugh ended up having a great series then. Another one that sticks very, very close to my heart is the Edgbaston Test of 2005, where Andrew Flintoff and Brett Lee embrace after the game. That's one that, when I think of great cricketing photos, when I think of a great game, I think of that one. I was 12 at the time, and day 5 started with pretty much no hope from an Australian perspective. We only had 2 wickets in hand and needed about 100 to win. And we got within 3 runs or 2 runs. And to see Brett Lee get so close, Andrew Flintoff help England get back into the series 1-1, but still have the awareness to embrace Brett Lee and help pick him up. I thought really encaptured the true spirit of cricket. And that was one that stuck with me for a long time as well. So it's just beautiful.
Amit, I think you will remember this as an Indian fan growing up in the 90s, how helpless we were when we used to play Australia at times, when, you get one batsman out, you have another, you get him out, you have the third one, you get him out, and it just never ended. Like it just never stopped. And that's one such moment that has stuck with me is going to be the 2003 World Cup. I can never come back from that ever.
I love that. That was a great night.
That was, because
You are in minority here, Sharvil.
Yeah.
The specific moment I remember from that match is the rain delay that happened. I think at some stage there was a rain delay, and I remember because in Mumbai, in the apartment building that I was staying, the apartments next to us, they got happy and they took out all the drums and everything, and they went on the roads, and they were happy that there was rain. And in about 5 minutes, the players came back and started playing. By that time, the people who were with the drums had reached the end of the street, and there was a big screen at the end of the street. So there they saw the game had already started, so they ran back and we could hear them. Oh, the match has already started. Let's get back.
I remember that because the thought was there could be a replay or something the next day or something like that.
Exactly.
That was because, as we know, Australia scored 360, and
obviously
that was it. It was game over when
obviously
Tendulkar was out.
Ponting's bat had spring in it, so that was that was something that was so that rumor spread across India like wildfire. I mean,
of course.
Amit would certainly remember that.
Yeah,
Definitely. And I mean, I now I'm wondering, why did you start the podcast with so many nice memories, and you're ending it with this memory where I would not be able to go to sleep.
Actually,
I'll be honest. One moment that I have not revisited ever in my life is Sachin getting dismissed in that final.
Yeah,
He hit
that's a heartbreaker
against Glenn McGrath. And it's been 18 years now. I have not watched the replay of that ball. I didn't watch it after he got out, but it still is there in my mind. It still is.
And that's what I talk about. That's what I talk about Tendulkar with his stance. I'm thinking, he's got the weight of 1 billion people on his shoulders, kind of thing. That's what I see.
Keeping the time in mind, last question for you, Amit, before we let you go. 25 years down the line, that one photo, one moment across cricketing journey, it may not have happened. It may have happened right now. That one photo which you will stick on the last page of your diary, that one photo.
Difficult
that one photo that
I'll pick Ben Stokes here. I'll pick Ben Stokes 2019. I think it was a Herculean effort, and whatever, slice of luck he might have had, but him celebrating, and in the background, the crowd going wild. It made for such a beautiful photograph, and it captured so much about the Ashes. So, and of course, Ben Stokes as a player is an absolutely brilliant cricketer. So for me,
smart there. I mean, we were doing some India bashing, and now we're doing some Australia bashing because we're reminding me of Ben Stokes. But yeah, I agree with you. That's an iconic photo as well. I was down on my knees and devastated at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, but it's just when you look back at it, you appreciate what the achievement was through the photo.
Absolutely.
And everyone can share in it as well and discuss it. So, I mean, this was a fantastic chat. Amit, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We hope to chat to you more, and we'll chat to you more in the future about this stuff. It's fascinating, and all the best with what you're doing. You're doing some amazing stuff, and thank you for joining us today on the podcast.
Same to you guys. Thank you so much.